Good morning, Illini. Welcome back to another Healthy Illini podcast. I'm your host, as always, Matt Schrock. We're glad you're with us today. And today we get to talk to some students about McKinley, but also about an aspect of McKinley that you may not be aware of and a resource that you may not be aware of. So I'm excited to kind of shine a spotlight on that today. I'm joined by two students who are active here at McKinley, and I'll explain how in a moment. But first up is Talitha Akoto. She's a senior majoring in community health with a focus on health education. Talitha, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt.
And also joined by Ramon Duden. She's a sophomore, and her major is chemistry. And Ramon, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the reason I have both of you on here, this is very specific and strategic, is that over the time of this program, we've had a lot of units and representatives of McKinley Health Center come on various topics and share about who they are and what they do and things like that. But we do have a group here at McKinley that we haven't talked about much, and that's the McKinley Student Advisory Board. And you are both the co-chairs of this current year, 2024-25. So as the co-chairs, I wanted you to come on and kind of share about the Student Advisory Board, or SAB, if you hear me say that. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't know when SAB started. I tried to go back and look. I'm not sure exactly when it started, but I do know that I have electronic record as far back as 1996. I'm guessing it started before that. We just didn't have the electronic aspect of it. But at least since 1996. So we're coming up on 30 years of electronic records for this group. So it's a long-standing group, and it's a well-established group. And so as the co-chairs, I wanted you to have a chance to come on and talk about it. So to start off, for somebody who's listening and they don't know what it is, would you just share a little bit about what McKinley Health Center Student Advisory Board is?
Yeah, so it's a group of 8 undergrads, 3 graduate students, 4 campus staff, and 4 non-voting McKinley staff, which includes the executive director, medical director, marketing director, and the recorder/secretary.
We meet each month during fall and spring semester. We usually don't meet during breaks. There might be some emails back and forth, but that'll be all. And essentially, we're just a liaison between these students and McKinley, meaning we just pass along any issues or interests from either group, meaning we go both ways, and we kind of help educate and evaluate services and programs to the students whenever something comes out, or bring up like an issue that McKinley might need to know about later on.
One of the things with that, though, I do want to point out is that it is 8 undergrad and 3 grad, but it's volunteer. You don't get paid for it. You get lunch, which is, always nice, but this is not a paid internship of sorts. This is totally, this is totally students and staff who want to be involved and want to be active in that. And I think that's an important distinction because it's a very proactive decision to be a part of it. But go ahead. Some other things, some other aspects of Student Advisory Board. What are some things that you do in that role, and how do you help?
Yeah, so this past week we actually tabled at the ARC, where we educated students on what McKinley does. And in addition, we have a time capsule coming out, so we're getting some feedback about what new things we can put into a new time capsule, which is really great to interact with students, hear their feedback. And we also do outreach events in other areas such as the Union or the Iconberry STRP, so look out for us there.
So, excuse me. One of the things I say about the campus is that it's very special. I love being a part of it. I love being active on it. But really, what makes it special is the people on campus. That's one of my favorite things. Is that we always get new people coming through. I get to see people grow and step into who they are. Then they go off and start their careers and their lives elsewhere. But it's really an exciting time to see people come and be a part of things on campus. And the Student Advisory Board is the same way, that it's always great for me to see every year who gets on it, what the personality is, what the focus is. And I'm reminded every single fall as I meet new students that we have brilliant young people on our campus. And I've had the opportunity to work with both of you now through McKinley for a while, and I put you right in that group that you're both brilliant and you're exceptional, and it's a lot of fun and energizing to work with you. So I wanted to ask, because somebody may be listening and be like, okay, they're the co-chairs, but why are they the co-chairs? So my question is, why did you decide that you wanted to be a part of Student Advisory Board? How did you hear about Student Advisory Board? What kind of brought you to this position?
So I heard about Student Advisory Board through the pre-health Canvas page. I think you had sent out an announcement through there saying, hey, this is what Student Advisory Board does. We essentially help reach out through McKinley to students and vice versa. And I recall being with my friend, and I look at her, I'm like, hey, do you think this will be an interesting thing to do? Like, it seems fun. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I think the fact that, like, we act like as a messenger, but also kind of help the students better their health through McKinley was a very nice aspect to it. The fact that it was like volunteering, which means like, oh, you're not obligated. You can just come here and do it for fun, and honestly, it has been a lot of fun, so.
Yeah, like Ramon said, it's been a lot of fun. This is my second year on the board, but first year as co-chair. So I heard about it my sophomore year into junior year, and that was my second semester sophomore year, where I was just scrolling through the McKinley website, and I saw some names like at the bottom of the website, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder what they do. And I saw something about like a new board every semester or every school year. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can maybe get on the board my junior year and see how that goes. So I emailed Matt. It worked out. I was there my junior year, not as a co-chair, but just as a member of the board. And it was really great. I loved the people I was working with. As Ramon said, working with each other, it's just really fun. Lunch is great. It's just a bunch of ideas bouncing off each other and getting feedback, and also getting to make decisions about McKinley and what they do for campus and students as well. And I think McKinley is just really important because it's free, it's accessible, and it allows students just to have somewhere to go when they need help, which I just think is a great thing about McKinley.
So you mentioned that you bounce ideas and you get to share with that. That's one thing I want to bring up, and as we talk, is that you are definitely a voice of the students as members of the student advisory board, as students yourselves. You bring those things. Would you just share a little bit about what your experience has been as that voice? Like how what things you have been talked about in your time that you're like, oh, this was really an impactful conversation, or I was glad I was a part of this conversation, some of the things. Or on the other side of it is, how can students who aren't on the board help you be their voice going forward and be a representative for them with McKinley?
One thing I think I remember was the issues across campus with the vending machines, because they are fairly new and we do need to get those like custom made for campus. It's like having constant input of like, oh, what we can do better, and oh, students don't feel comfortable with like the fact that it shows the item on screen and everyone can see what you're getting. That was a big thing, because I do understand like the discomfort of like having everyone know what you need. And then I think another thing Talitha brought up was her Reddit idea.
Yeah. So we have a new Reddit page coming out soon, and what it essentially is just a way for students and members of the SAB to communicate with each other directly, because I know it can be hard to know exactly who's on the student advisory board because we don't have an Instagram page. So we were like, okay, what ways can we interact with students a little more? And my idea was Reddit. I think Reddit is a great resource because I think a lot of people just don't have social media, or they don't follow the McKinley page, and Reddit doesn't make you follow anybody. It's just a stream that just kind of scrolls through, and whoever posts is whatever post you see. So you don't need to follow anybody, and it just allows everyone on Reddit to see a post that McKinley posts. So I thought it'd be a great idea just to allow students to interact with us and just know about what's going on with McKinley. Whether we're tabling a certain location, we'll put that out there. Whether we have an update with the vending machine, we'll put that out there. Or if we have an event coming up, like the 100th anniversary celebration we have coming up, we'll put that out there. So just things like that, just for students to be more aware about what McKinley does. So yeah, just look out for that on Reddit.
And it is important to say, if somebody's listening, that you do have the ear of McKinley, because with that group, you go back to who, Talitha, that you listed who is on the board. 4 of those were non-voting McKinley staff, and the non-voting McKinley staff are the executive director, the medical director, and the marketing director. I mean, these are people with pull, right? These are people that direct the way McKinley goes, and so you do have an audience with the leadership of McKinley, and I can speak from the McKinley side that the leadership takes what you say very seriously. That we do use that as direction. I know there are some exciting things happening behind the scenes right now that I don't want to throw out there yet because we're not ready to. But there's some exciting things behind the scenes that had major push because Student Advisory Board was a part of that. So if a student wants to voice a concern, the Student Advisory Board is a great way to go. They can reach you through the Reddit page, but there's also some events coming up that Talitha had kind of talked about. But if somebody wants to get involved with Student Advisory Board, if they want to not just voice something, but they want to be a part of it, how do they go about finding out about those opportunities or a chance to be on the board?
So yeah, we will also be at the McKinley Spring Health Fair, which is a great way to get to know us, get to know Matt, and as well as the other staff members who are on the Student Advisory Board. And just a good way to interact with us, hear more about the board and what we do. And then in addition to that, we have other outreach events coming up where you can also interact with us, talk to us about who you can reach out to, how to join the board. And it's a really simple, standard process. You email Matt, and he gets back to you on kind of your application. Not very much of an application. It's very standard, more of a resume-based thing, if anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just showing interest and be like, hey, we'll get back to you and see how things go. And then the next semester comes for the new year. And then he's like, hey, if you're still interested, we would love to have you come in.
So I can speak to it a little bit from that side because I am the recorder for Student Advisory Board. That's one of my roles here at McKinley. And so I do help interact with the prospective students and get that set up. If I'm contacted by somebody who is interested, I will respond to that. And I usually do a couple of follow-ups because we usually start off with a large number of initial interest, and then it whittles down as you go. And part of that is just opportunity because we do meet on Fridays. And so sometimes there's students who want to be involved, but their class schedule doesn't allow it. And classes are most important. I'm going to throw that out there. Not trying to take anybody away from that. But, that interaction is really how it comes to it. But you're right. The health fair is a great place. We have a sign-up sheet on that. That's a great way to start that initial conversation. The other way, when we're talking about issues that students want to bring up, is just contact us through the website. We have a contact page. If you send that there and say you have a concern, it will make it to administration, and we will have that. And then we'll bring it before the board. You talked about it's both ways, that your liaisons both ways. You bring student concerns to us. Sometimes we bring concerns to you and say, is this a viable concern? Is this an issue? Is this something that you've heard about, and put you on some homework where you go out and talk to people and things like that. And that's it's a collaboration. It really is what Student Advisory Board is. And your roles as co-chair is to really be the representative of the whole board and also coordinate some things on that. So before we close, because we are running out of time here, and I appreciate your time today. But before we close, I just wanted to I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. But if someone were to say, what's your experience been with Student Advisory Board? If you were someone said, I want you to tell somebody about what you've done or how you feel about it, what would you say?
I would say I really have enjoyed my time here. As a graduating senior, very bittersweet not being able to come back one more year. But if I could, I would, absolutely. But I was on Spec Pops before which was also through McKinley, by the way, which a great experience, but it was more student-based. So coming to Student Advisory Board and being able to work with the McKinley staff themselves was a really good experience, and hearing about the feedback that they offer you and you offer them. It was a really good exchange, very good conversations that you were having, which just isn't really what Spec Pops was. So it was a good experience just being here and listening to all the ideas that are coming out, all the new things McKinley has planned for, all the new students and everything. It's just been a great experience.
Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I do work at Illini Union, so seeing the difference between working as an obligation versus kind of just volunteering to the university is nice, because I don't feel obligated to always have this positive view from the university, depending on how is McKinley to students, or how are students to McKinley. So kind of just being like, hey, let's look out for this. It feels like, there are no strings attached. It's very light, airy to do, and very relieving. And I don't think there was a negative experience that I can actually think of, because it's just been so uplifting.
Well, as someone who interacts with you a lot, as the recorder, I can say that you both have been fantastic to work with. Just a joy, and I'm thrilled that you were both co-chairs and see where we're going. Because we still have, it's weird to think we're in March right now, but we still have more of the semester to go. I just really appreciate the contributions you have both made to the Student Advisory Board, how you helped direct it this year. So thank you. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Matt.
There are lots of ways to get involved here on campus and to be involved in whatever you're passionate about. And McKinley Student Advisory Board is one of those, and it is a viable board. It comes in and gives perspective, gives suggestions. There's votes on things that matter. And so it's an important part of what we do here at McKinley, and we take it very seriously. And so if you're listening and you want to know more about it, or you want to be a part of the board, contact us here at McKinley. Let us know your interest, and I'll be happy to interact with you and explain some things, answer any questions you have, that sort of thing, because we're always looking for more input from the students, because we're here to serve students, and we're here to help you in whatever your path is here at the university. But thank you for joining us today. You are on a personal journey no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini.